Good evening once again, YouTube. L's Unicorn here again. And I just wanted to make a quick video regarding a video that I just recently beheld. I've been subscribed to a number of different channels during my tenure here, and recently I subscribed to a Christian-oriented channel by the name of Purushadas USA, and I have a link to his channel in the description. He put up a video recently titled, "Muhammad's Wives Were All Legal Age." Now, the first question one might ask is, what does that mean, legal age? I mean, that could mean just about anything, depending on which country you're living in and what time period you're living in. But the implied definition of legal age in this video is, I'm assuming, 17 or 18 years old. And this is further argued with regards to the specific issue of Muhammad's fourth wife, who, according to many sources, was at the age of 6 or 7 when the marriage occurred, and either 8 or 9 years old when the union was consummated. And I'm sure most of you know what that means, and if you don't, get a dictionary, because I'm not going any further than that. Now, this video repulsed me for a number of reasons, but the primary reason was I guess you could call it a plea for the prevalence of political correctness. In other words, if you say X or Y, you're a bigot and you should be ashamed of yourself. And he falls back on the argument that Christians are not bigots, assuming that said statement is in and of itself bigoted. Now, the problem with pushers of political correctness is that the things that they claim are bigoted tend to be factual. And with regards to the case of Muhammad's fourth wife, while we could say it's not 100% truth, because in terms of historical sources there's always a little tinge of doubt, it's pretty much beyond any reasonable doubt that the accounts put forth that this particular wife was of this age were in fact true. And I have a website to back up my claim, and this website has a good number of footnotes, so I will vouch for its legitimacy. And this website is www.muslimhope.com/Aisha9.htm, and again I have the link in the description. Now, on this website there are a number of valid sources that are confirmed by Islamic clerics as being accurate and infallible sources of Islamic truth and Islamic revelation. The thing that most people tend to forget is that in addition to the Quran, which is the primary book in the Islamic faith, that there are also hadiths. These are additional historical accounts from secondary witnesses. These were people other than Muhammad who were alive during his time and made similar accounts. This is the equivalent of, let's say, for example, the 4 Gospels in the Bible. 4 different accounts from 4 different people. In the Hadithas, you get several additional accounts in addition to Muhammad's own account of the goings-on at that time. And these accounts are all accepted as either equal or of near equal validity as the Quran itself. As a matter of fact, most traditionalist Sunni and Shia Muslims regard the Hadiths as being on equal footing with the Quran. So, on the website there is a good sort of a, precursor to the actual argument, and these are the points I wanted to hit. Now, if it is false that Muhammad actually married and consummated the union with an underage girl, although according to Islamic tradition she is not underaged, then there are some peculiar practices going on today that would suggest that in addition to us bigoted Christians being out of the loop on this truth, apparently entire countries claiming Islam as their official religion are in the same boat. Okay, In Iran, as of the year 2002, it is legal for a 9-year-old girl to marry with her parents' permission. And this is from Voices Behind the Veil, page 136 to 137. Furthermore, in the Ivory Coast, it is also told that a 12-year-old girl who would leave the house for hours before returning home would be tied up by her father, would have her back burned with a piece of iron, locked up for 3 days with no food, and then married off to a 40-year-old man. 12-year-old girl, 40-year-old man. He never sent her to school because he said that it would drive them from their tradition. They would start asking questions and not want to marry until they are 19 or 20. Interesting. And the Taliban encouraged families to marry their daughters as young as 8 years old. According to Islamic tradition, and this is also cited on this website, the minute that a girl menstruates, she is considered a full-fledged woman. Now, menstruation can occur at any age between 9 and 13 years old. It can happen as young as 9 years old. Doesn't always happen that young, but in the case of Aisha, it may well have, and that was the reason for the consummation of the union. Now, Purushadas USA's video makes one argument against these sources which claim that this occurred. And this is actually one of many objections that have been made by more modern Muslims who claim that this simply isn't the case, that Muhammad did this. All right. His objection is that Aisha's 10 years older sister Asma died in 73 AD. This is the Islamic year 73 AD, when she was 100 years old. And it goes, Asma died in 73 AH when she was 100 years old. Since Asma would have been about 26 to 27 in 1 AH, that would make Asma 16 to 17-year-old during 1 age, not 8 to 9 years old. Now, the site's response to this is simply, assuming these books are reliable on this point, people can report the age of somebody incorrectly after they've died. For example, if you trust Ibn Hajar, this is the source, when Asma died, you should trust Ibn Hajar's Asba 4, page 359 to 360, where he shows Aisha was married by the time she was 9 years old. And what about the dolls, of course? Now, it sounds a little unlikely that a 17 to 19-year-old woman would still be playing with dolls. However, contrary to Objection 6, a writer reported that many Muslim sources refer to Aisha still playing with her dolls when she was married. This was the Sahih Muslim, Volume 2, Book 8, Chapter 548, number 3310.3311, page 716. Sahih Muslim, Volume 4, Book 29, Chapter 1005, number 5981-5982, page 1299. Sunan Abu Dawud, Volume 3, Book 36, Chapter 1769, number 4913, page 1373, Ibn Habal. So, essentially we have actual documentation suggesting the opposite of what Purushadas is stating. Now, Purushadas doesn't cite where he got the 17 to 19-year-old number specifically, but I can make an assumption that it was from an Islamic apologetics site. Now, I encourage everybody watching this video to visit the website that I have linked here, read all of it for yourself. It's very, very specific on every point that it addresses, and it sources everything, and it all points back to the hadiths and actual Islamic scholars and actual Islamic government practices regarding this issue. So this video is basically in direct response to Purushadas USA's video, and I will close it in saying the following. If it's if you consider it bigoted to argue something that has been bolstered by multiple sources and accepted as true even amongst those whom you are defending, then I guess we don't really have a place for fellowship with each other. And you might suggest that I'm no Christian for bringing this point up, but by the same token, you are not being much of a Christian by putting out falsehoods and defending a religion that is a direct offshoot of the Arian heresy and also Zoroastrian mysticism, both of which have no connection to Orthodox Christianity, of which I assume you are a member since you have its insignia on your channel. With prudence to myself and benevolence to all of you, good evening.